Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burb with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
What up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome back to the show. This is the Two Dumb Yinzers, episode 735. Welcome back, everybody. If there's any introduction needed, his mother told him to not do that with his face or it would stick like that. And unfortunately, welcome to the show. It's Mike Mueller, everybody.
What is up, Mueller? Like Mueller.
No, I like Mueller.
I like Mueller. Jackass.
Having like connection issues. Not like the usual issues, but just like
I've had issues all day too on my end. I had to reboot my computer a couple times. My headphones are beeping and tweaking and squawking. It's a weird day here.
It's kind of odd. I don't know what's going on, but I mean, it's good enough that we could roll.
Oh yeah.
I just don't. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, neither do I. It's triggering. It's triggering me.
Yeah. Well, anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. A lot of things to talk about today, Mike. But I got a funny joke. You want to hear a joke?
Yeah, I want to hear a joke.
All right. It's not like a traditional joke, but check this out. What's the difference between Derpy and these two paintbrushes?
I think I know the answer, but what's the difference between Derpy and those two paintbrushes?
These two paintbrushes touched a chick's nipples. Oh man, welcome back. I think it was 2021 or 2022. Could always go back and pull that episode up if you're interested, but we did in fact paint a model's nipples, and it was a lot of fun. I got to be honest, Mike. I missed those days.
Me too. That was the good times. Those were the fun times. It was in the long ago.
And you know what? I never washed that paint off of them. The paint that we used to paint her nipples is still on the paintbrushes. So,
is
that weird, or I don't know what
that's a little weird. I'm not gonna lie, that it seems a little weird, but you know, I don't blame you.
What do we got? Oh, big news in Pennsylvania. It took just one day to apparently a bill arrived on the desk in Harrisburg to legalize weed.
Nice.
Like just one day it took to pass through, and it's now on the last desk. Apparently, when asked about it, they had said it's going to be great for the Commonwealth because people were just going over the border anyways and buying it and bringing it back. So I think that this might be the push, guys. I knew it was eventually going to happen. It's just PA's they're just really slow with everything they do.
Yeah.
But as I said, by the way that I understood the message was, they passed it through like within one day, which is really fast, I guess.
That is extremely fast, because usually you got to get, committee, this committee, that committee. We got to vote about this, vote about that. Let's talk about this. And to get it to go that fast that's quick. That's really quick for any form of government to get something passed like that fast. I'm surprised you guys got it done that quick.
Absolutely.
But I think your governor's been wanting to do it for a while now.
I think so too.
Yeah, and like they said, you're going across to another state. I live in Ohio, where I go to my dispensary. There's people there. Oh yeah, man, we're in from PA. We're in from
You're right.
PA.
I can imagine they
Or
probably
we're
get
in
a
from West
lot.
Virginia. We're in from PA. What up, Finch? Ryan, we got to get a secondary board. Board is
Okay.
not working on our end on Restream, so my fault there. I apologize.
Is it going to pop up for people like to do on their end?
Oh yeah, on their end it'll pop up. It's up on YouTube. Good to go. It's not
Yeah.
on our end. That's part of the. I don't know what's going on my end. Like I said, my computer has been acting up today, so I apologize, everyone.
What's up, Finchy? Finchy said border hopping for weed. Well, you're not gonna have to do it much longer. Looks like we're gonna get it. And you know what? I gotta be honest. If we don't get it this point, I'll be surprised. I knew we would take an awful long time and probably be one of the last states to get it, and that happens to be the case. But I would not expect it to be too much longer. I mean, you have. I don't know how they do the voting. I just know that every once in a while, in between like presidential elections, they do smaller votes, and in those votes, sometimes things get passed. So maybe next year, I know they have a midterm, maybe something like this, Mike. I'm not sure, or if it just if these people they pass it to get voted on by people, or they just decide outright that it's going to be legal, illegal, whatever. So I'm not sure the whole process on that, but I do know that it did get passed faster than they expected, just in one day. So it's going to go to the next step to see if they're going to legalize weed in Pennsylvania. Which at this point, come on, we're in the we're in the Puritan ages compared to everybody else.
Yeah,
I mean, you think about when the hell was it that Seattle and Denver played that Super Bowl
years ago?
And that was the big thing. Both of these two teams, they have legal weed. They're the only two cities that have legal weed, and they got to play each other in the Super Bowl. And that's been quite a few years. Super Bowl 50, if I'm remembering right.
That sounds about right.
Right around there.
Yeah.
I
just hope it's cheaper than Ohio, because my state, man,
they are.
they just have it so like they're like, oh, there's battles back and forth. Oh, it passed. You people voted for it, but you know what? We might not let it go through. Then they let it go through. Then they're like, oh, we think we're gonna raise the price and lower the THC content. Like, thanks, guys. Thanks.
That's why I don't trust the government. People smoked weed for many years. Now the government's involved. Well, we're going to take the potency down. We're going to raise the price. This is why you don't want government and shit.
Like my brother and sister-in-law, they live out in Colorado, and they're like out there. They're like, oh, dude, it's amazing. The quality's good. The price is good. they love it out. The way that state runs it, and that like from what I've read, it's like one of the best run states for it.
And the thing is about weed, that's what it's for. It's there to make money. So they're going to jack up the prices whenever they want to and manipulate it. And but again, they have that control. And I hate that. I hate that because who are they? Now that come on, everybody, you gotta have a license for every single thing you do or look at or touch. And I just wish they'd keep their hands out of shit.
You don't have the license to touch this bushy beard, though. Anyone can come touch it. Yeah.
I do want to say. Corey says, what's up? What's up, Corey Beavers? Corey Beavers says,
Corey?
Can't wait to talk about some of the stuff I've seen on YouTube. Scrolling there, there's a lot of things we're going to talk about today, guys. A lot of things going on. What's going on? Just popped up on my TikTok, popped up across the bottom of the screen, said Shedeur Sanders traded, but it was a TikTok, so I don't know.
It's probably a joke.
Nothing important. Corey says it's not legal here in Indiana. I wouldn't imagine. I mean, Indiana's more, I think they're more red in that state, and which would make me think it would take longer, but I don't know. Finch says when it becomes legal, you will have the ability to grow your own, find those high potency seeds to go. And what stops me from doing that from now? What stops me from doing that 20 years ago? Nothing. Now the only difference is they could tell me that I have to pay more money, and they could change the potency of my weed. I don't know, guys. It's again, I want to be alive for the experience. I want to see it become legal in our country. I mean, I always thought that would be something cool to see. But again, I don't know. I just don't trust the gov. But Finch says, yes, it's a lot of work, but it's good that you have the option, assuming that all passes. And the thing is, I smoke legal, and it's not that great. It's not fantastic. And I don't know. Again, you know what it's about. You know why they're legalizing it. It's because they're missing out on all the money. So you got to consider that. New GTA trailer dropped this morning.
I can't wait for that. I gotta watch that. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
One other thing before we do move on, though, the Furries Act The Furries Act, guys. I don't know if anybody caught this in Texas. The Furries Act would ban Texas students from using litter boxes in school. So now apparently you're not allowed to use a litter box to go to the bathroom in school in Texas. It's against the rules. So, Mike, you can't do it. You can't not do it.
You know what? I was the one person in America who had a litter box everywhere they go, and now I can't go to Texas.
So,
Darn.
There you go. Next thing you know, they'll be telling us we can't do blackface.
Yeah, oh my God, Ryan.
Well, one is pretending to be black, one's pretending to be a cat. What's the difference here? I don't know, guys. In my opinion, let's move on, though.
God.
A lot of things to go over today. Wait, I can't move on, Mike. I have to prepare for this next segment, of course. There we go. Pittsburgh Pirate time. Pittsburgh Pirates back in action yesterday. They dropped another one. This is 5 in a row, 8 of the last 9. They lose to the Cardinals, Mike, 6-3. It was a big 4-run 6th inning for the Cardinals that drove them past the Pirates. Pirates dropped to 12-24 on the season. Mike, 12-24. Cardinals improved to 17-19. I get my face on here. There we go. Majinski goes 4 2/3 of an inning, gives up 4 hits, 2 earned runs, gives up no walks, and 2 strikeouts. However, Shugart comes in, gives up 4 runs, 5 hits, a walk, 0.0 innings, Mike, 0.0. He came in, gave up all that, enough for the Pirates to get so far behind, Mike, 6-3. They end up losing. On the night, Brian Reynolds does hit a home run, and Frazier and Valdez both have 2 hits. Pirates back at it tonight. They take on the Cardinals in game 2 of 3. This game starts at 7:45. This is a Pittsburgh Paul Skeens day. I'm sorry. Paul Skeens day tonight. He comes in with a 3-3 record, a 2.74 with 41 strikeouts. He'll be taking on Matthew Liberatore, who comes in with a 2-3 record, a 3.44 and 30 strikeouts on the season. The San Diego Padres closer, Mike, has more wins, has more saves than the Pirates have losses. I'm sorry, he has more saves than the Pirates have wins. He has 13 saves on the season. The Pirates have 12 wins. This is what's going on with the Pirates. Also, a couple other things, Mike. They are 29 out of 30 with a 335 slugging percentage. Also, what else? There was one other thing I did want to say here. Before we get to the big story that happened at PNC Park yesterday that everybody's talking about, I don't know. I can't find it. All I do know is Pittsburgh back at it today against the Cardinals, 7:45. Paul Skeens on the bump. Let's see if the Pirates could get back on track again. Mike, 5 in a row, 8 of the last 9. They lost. This may be the worst start I've seen in a long time. And I got to be honest, this isn't the worst team I've seen in a long time, which makes it most frustrating.
Yeah.
But, Mike, after what we're going to get into next, I don't know how you can't say this is the Pittsburgh Pirates this year. I don't know if it's going to get any better, but, geez, oh, man, after the first month of the season, you hope that it gets a little bit better from what's all going on with this team.
Yeah, you would hope, but there is no end in sight. And to quote the skipper, we haven't been as good as we can be. Us, talking about the offense, but that could be applied to just about anything else outside of like O'Neal Cruz and a couple.
Why do these Pittsburgh coaches always got something stupid to say? You know what I mean?
Right?
That's the dumbest thing you can say.
They point out the obvious, but they say it in a way that makes you want to just beat them over the head with like, come on now. Yes, we all know this. Give us a little something else, please, Skip. Well, when I saw that quote, I'm like, yeah, that's going on the thumbnail today. And yeah, that is just quintessential Derek Shelton right there, ladies.
They almost take notes off of each other, Mike, because they all these people in Pittsburgh all have the same dumb answers that
Mike.
Well, if we get more yards and more points than the other team, maybe we'll win.
Yeah, we score some more goals. And keep them out the box. We might win some more games.
The Pirates we love this baseball team, but we just don't like the way that we're performing. It's always there's always
all
a but.
All 3 of them were, and it's great. I like people
get it together.
Tomlin had, we know the Tomlinisms, the Mike Sullivanisms flew under the radar. They were just as good and just as hollow as Mike Tomlin. The standard is the standard. Mike Sullivan had, we got to get back to the stick-to-itiveness. What the fuck word is that, bro?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I love our coaches.
Nobody paid attention to him.
I like, don't get me wrong. When they say something that's good and golden, it's funny as fuck, but it's so frustrating and annoying because you can write their responses in your sleep. You know the answers for them. Oh, we weren't as good as we thought we were.
Let's get into what happened at PNC or at when was this? Because they're on the road. This had to be the other day, because all this stuff came out yesterday about this guy, this usher. At the Pirate game. Now, did it happen yesterday?
I don't know exactly.
Because they're in St. Louis. It may have happened the night before against the Padres or whoever the hell we just played and got swept by. But the big news is the fan and the usher, apparently, I don't know if it's an usher. Some people are saying that it was just an employee. Whatever the case may be, he worked for PNC Park. Now, apparently there was an issue going on where this gentleman was harassing a woman. So the usher comes over to break it up. And while this is happening, the guy loses his head, probably drunk. I mean, come on. And he spits not once, Mike. I counted 3 different times.
Yeah.
I counted 3 times where he spit on this usher. And I got to be honest with you. Whatever you believe coulda, woulda, shoulda happened. If somebody spits on me, it's on.
Exactly.
I don't care who you are. I don't care where we are. Now, listen, you do it once, it's out of anger. And I understand people act irrationally out of anger and out of emotion. I get that. But if you get spit on 3 separate times, you better believe something is going to happen. Now, my question is this. Where was security at this whole entire time? Because it went on. You watch the video, and you're thinking for something to be able to escalate the way that it did, that took a period of time to get to the point to where it was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where was the security for 1? For 2, the guy spit on him 3 times. And for 3, you could tell the guy tried to knock him out because people have YouTube now. When we were kids, you would just punch somebody in the face or hit him in the nose. Now everybody does that right cross to try to knock the guy out. And you see it all the time. Well, anyway, he did it. He did the right cross. It didn't even phase the guy. He was, like I said, he's probably loaded. And then he started hitting him again. And the usher was hitting the drunk guy. And it didn't seem to affect the guy. So at that point, I thought, all right, this guy's loaded. Where's this going to go next? So the usher kind of separates himself from the situation. And the guy comes and spits on him again. And I got to tell you, one more time, Mike, you spit on somebody, that's complete disrespect for him. And I don't care who you are, what the situation, who the people are. I mean, and he managed to do this 3 times. And at the very beginning of the video, you see him talking to a woman carrying a child. Maybe at that point he probably should have, kept on with his family, but or apparently whoever it was. And then he, as I said, he goes on to spit on the guy. The guy was very patient with him. Yeah, I thought that I probably
more patient than most people would have been.
So then he takes off his belt.
It's the best part.
And then he starts.
That's my favorite part. That's my favorite part,
which he deserved entirely.
Yes.
I know, I believe in the justice system, but I also believe in street justice as well. In the sense, if you spit on me 3 times, taking my belt off and beating your ass is well within the rules.
Yeah, that it's go time at that point. I don't care who you are. You spit on me, I'll probably get my ass whooped, but I'm throwing down. You ain't gonna, do that to me. And I'm 100% behind this usher. He, saw an employee, a co-worker being harassed, tried to break it up. You got spit on multiple times, and then at that point, like you said, it's time. It's go time.
But let me ask you this.
Yeah,
this is going to be the big question. What self-defense, and at what point do you go too far? Now, listen.
Yeah.
Let's look at a fair-minded judge looking at this. You're watching it go down. Now you're claiming self-defense. The guy spit on you. You punched him in the head a few times. He spit on you again. You punched him again, and then he spit on you again. And then he took his belt off again. I'm not complaining about none of this. I support the guy, the usher, and as I said, at what point is the judge going to look at this and say, "Well, this isn't self-defense. Why wouldn't you separate yourself from the situation, find an authority figure, And when it got to the third round, to actually remove your belt, I don't know. You hope it doesn't screw things up in the case, because, of course, this guy that did the spitting deserves to have the book thrown at him. But I just don't want the judge to say, if you're claiming self-defense, how do you manage to keep going back after the guy? Yes, you've been spit on, but again, you're claiming self-defense. Is that this is where I think it gets sketchy, and this is where I don't want things to get messed up for the worker.
Well, if you spit on someone, that is the legal definition of assault. That is an assault right there. So he assaulted that guy multiple times. So
after 1, 2, 3 times, the guy shouldn't have separated himself and found somebody and said, "Hey, this guy's spitting on me."
What's the difference between being spit on 4 times and punched 4 times?
It was because it was it was a period of time, and it was about 3 minutes, and that's plenty. Again, I'm not sticking up for the guy at all.
Yeah,
I think that it was totally wrong, but again, you might say to yourself, if you're trying to beat me up and I run, but then I come back, you see what I'm saying? I had the opportunity to get out of the situation. I defended myself at first, and then I got away, but then I put myself back in the situation to have it continue. So that's what I'm saying. I don't want that to happen to the guy, because he wasn't. I mean, even if he was wrong, I mean, the guy spit on him 3 times. I think that, again, I would certainly think that most people would be okay with what the guy did.
Yeah, but you would think, and you would hope, and you would hope that the Pirates, even though they did suspend this guy, or whoever, his employer has suspended him, they better be paying him. They better be backing him, because he's sitting there he was actually trying to protect a fellow coworker, a fellow employee, and this is the kind of employee that you want when shit's going down. I'm happy that guy's working where I work.
Mike, let me just say this. You know how, like, at the retail, you're in retail for a while, and if the guy steals, you're not even allowed to go chase him anymore. See what I'm saying? There's so many legalities anymore in 2025 that there's bound to be some kind of stupid loophole where they're like, well, you could have gotten away, just as if you shouldn't have tackled the guy, you shouldn't have grabbed the guy who stole, you should have let him run. And you're sitting there scratching your head saying, why is it like this?
Part of that from the retail environment is coming from the company, because
absolutely, it's all coming from the company,
because they don't want you to be liable. Like, if you go off property and you get hurt, it becomes a liability issue for
so that's what my question is. When does this become a liability to the company? Because you have an employee, you have an employee hitting somebody who's not. So again, that's what I don't like. I don't like that. And that's what I was trying to extract in this whole conversation, because I just think that this could be a screwy situation when it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't happen. And you just have a feeling like the company will throw the employee under the bus, and this is what we're not about, blah blah blah. This should not have happened. You should have someone who's never been in that situation be like, well, this is what you should have done. You should have handled this better. We have training for this, blah blah blah, bullshit, nonsense. And hopefully they stick by this guy, because he was 100% in the right.
I agree. Just depends on how the law looks at it. You know what
exactly.
I'm saying?
Yeah. But the guy would have to file charges.
That's somebody. I mean, there's definitely, who knows what's going to happen. We'll keep an eye on that. But certainly that biggest story of the day yesterday, amongst other things, again, I got to be honest with you, we do got some doozies coming up here. But that, Mike, is just another dent in the Pittsburgh Pirates 2025 season that couldn't be going any worse. And it's not just the baseball team. It's everything that goes around it now. And I got to be honest, maybe this is all just happening because it's the universe's way of telling Bob Nutting to sell the team.
You know what would be justice? That Usher is going to be now the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates. He showed more passion and fight in that video and in that situation than Derek Shelton has in his entire tenure as the Pirates manager. I think the players would rally around this guy. He's the new manager. Usher is our new manager. I don't know this gentleman's name, but he is the new manager of the Pirates. If I'm the owner, he's my new manager.
And they're not, and these are all lawsuit situations. The guy that jumped.
Yeah.
You know how the courts are. He's going to get something.
Because where was all that liquor coming from? Who allowed them to, drink?
Why isn't there a safety net? OSHA, come on there. You know the story. You heard it a million times in your life. But again, guys, another black eye on the Pittsburgh Pirates season. I can't talk about it anymore because it's making me vomit.
I was gonna say real quick. I saw like for one of those Bucko Twitter fan accounts. They're like, "Hey, the Houston Astros when they won their World Series started the same record as the Pirates. It's a long season. If you're that fucking delusional, my God, you deserve the misery of following this team."
Now let's get to the board, Mike. Corey says THA and Delta 89 doesn't hit like the real stuff, obviously, but it doesn't even come close. By the time it gets to you flying, you got to go buy more. The potency is a joke, but gummies are worth it.
Oh, gummies are my best friend.
I'm not a fan.
I love the gummies.
They make me feel like I don't know. I just
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah,
it's almost like they're poisoning me because the regulars that I've been the stuff that I've been smoking for the past 25 years of my life is different, and this is it's altered, and I can tell my body knows, and it's just I don't like it. I don't like it, but nonetheless, guys. Finchy says I'm gonna beat Derpy with my belt like an usher at PNC Park. Yes. Yes, I would love to see this. Jackson, Tortilla Jackson, what's up, my brother? How you doing today? Tortilla says at Finch, Will Howard will win a Super Bowl before GTA 6. That's insane.
Isn't that the truth?
Tortilla ends up going on to say GTA 6 got delayed until May next year. Caleb says, I'm talking about, hey, what's up, Caleb? Good morning to you, my friend. He says, I'm talking about my prom experience again. Yeah, if your prom date had the mustache that mine have, believe me.
At first, I thought it said your porn addiction. I'm like, wait, what? That's
a whole nother story. My poster, Jim Palmer poster, has had GTA 4 for months. What do you mean? Or yeah, he says 4. The Bucs team feels like they really are the bad news bears. And like I said, guys, this is only May 6th.
Right?
This season's been only going on a little over a month. It's a whole 6-month drag here. We've already had issues with Roberto Clemente's family. We've had a guy fall 21 feet who is now walking, guys. He did take his first steps. I do want to say on Monday that the gentleman that did fall off the wall last week, he did take his first steps yesterday. So that is definitely a news that's going in the right direction. And then, of course, this fight between the usher and the fan, the team not doing anything to improve. They figured they was going to ride Paul Skeens' coattails for the next 5 years and sell the stadium. People were tired of it. People are tired of it. They're not, Mike, they're tired of it. They're just not going anymore. And I love the fact that people are being proactive because this is all you're going to get for the rest of your life as long as people don't, as long as they don't act. Okay, Caleb was talking about GTA 6, of course. But that's the Pirates, guys. A couple other things before we get into our football. The Pittsburgh Riveters, the Gals Pro Soccer team, Mike, they will be starting their inaugural season next Friday against the Cleveland Force FC at Highmark Stadium. You want to see the Pittsburgh Riveters take on the Cleveland Force in the first game ever between for this Pittsburgh Riveters squad. Go down and check them out next Friday at Highmark Stadium. Should be a lot of fun. Soccer's really been picking up here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And you're playing Cleveland, you better win.
Yeah, exactly.
And them's the rules. Corey. I ate half of Corey's comments. Great. I ate half a gummy. My brother-in-law gave me 2 weeks ago. Hour later, I was outside playing soccer, trying to spin kick the ball. The ball's still in the garage.
It doesn't have that effect on me. It doesn't. I would think that they should be stronger. That's all I got to say about the gummies. I've taken many.
Take 100 milligrams. You'll be fine.
If you have it, I'll try. I'll take your challenge. But I've had nothing, no good experiences with the legal stuff yet. But we'll keep our eye on it, and I'll certainly keep you posted. Also, guys, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Some big news going on in Pittsburgh. With the Penguins yesterday, they did do the lottery for the NHL draft, Mike. Initially, the Penguins had a 5% chance to snatch the number 1 overall pick in the NHL draft. Matter of fact, they dropped all the way to the worst possible pick that they could have got. They landed at 11, which ended up being the team's highest since 2012. They haven't drafted this high since 2012. But, Mike, I can't help but think to myself, this has to do with that late season winning streak. If it wasn't for that, maybe their chances would have been a little bit better.
They would have been a little bit better, but this is why tanking could be bad, because the team who won the lottery and the team who now picks seconds, they were 13th and 14th. They jumped all the way from the bottom all the way up to the top. So it sucked. It would have been better if, we didn't have that late season surge to where we did drop 2 places. We still would have been within the top 10. Now you're sitting at 11 and 12. Like the drop off from like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, what I've been reading isn't as bad, but you could have got a guy who started to fall down the board for some reason. So it kind of screwed him right there, that late season surge. But it was also a good thing, that late season surge. You got to see some of these young guys that are part of the future that were brought in through the trades. What can they bring next year? So it's a double-edged sword. Next year's draft is the big draft, kind of like the NFL. There's some really, really good high-end players in next year's draft. I wouldn't be surprised to see if the Penguins trade at least one of their first-round picks, because that's if the Rangers forfeit their first-round pick to the Penguins this year, because it's a conditional pick. I can see them doing that. If the Penguins pick 11 and 12, look for them to trade one of those picks.
I have such a difficult time getting into it, man, with hockey. It's so different than college.
It's so hard. You don't know when these guys are going to come.
Right. You get a draft pick and you forget about him in 2029. They're like, hey, remember we got this guy back in 2025. He's really something exactly. Now.
Yeah.
I don't have that attention span.
Neither do I. And yeah, like I said, like once you get to a certain level in this draft, it's like close your eyes, take a pick. You're going to find a decent player in that range, but no one who's going to be franchise altering. Next year, there's a couple guys that are really freaking good.
Speaking of really good, Sidney Crosby and Marc-Andre Fleury will be teammates one more time. Fleury hangs it up the other night, but there's one more opportunity for Fleury and Crosby to be teammates as they do plan to play for Team Canada in the 2025 IIHF World Championships. Mike, it's going to be nice to see Fleury and Crosby one more time.
Mm-hmm.
When do these start? Do you have any idea?
I do not know. I didn't have that information.
No, I was just curious.
Yeah, because I saw the article too. I read it too. The dates did not stick with me.
Also, one other thing from the Pittsburgh Penguins, before we get into some football here, Mike, is Brian Rust and Raquel both had babies this past week, just one day apart, which makes you think, what was going on there?
Yeah, I know, right?
One day.
Let's do the math. Let's figure out what game was played and what was a wives girlfriend trip. Did they win?
Yeah. I mean, they were talking in the locker room before they went home that day. I'm going to go home and get some. I'm going to go home and get some too.
Yeah.
What's the chances? One day, just one day. They have, but that is congratulations to Rust and Raquel.
Maybe they're swingers.
Maybe they're swingers.
We don't judge here at the Two Dumb Yinzers.
We like swingers.
Did we have swingers on before? No.
Yeah, we had something. I can't remember.
We may have
transvestites. Something.
We did.
We did.
We did.
Let me get the board here right before we get into our football. Let me see. It looks like we are probably right about here. Caleb, of course, said yes. I did mean GTA 6. Corey says, I ate half a gummy my brother-in-law gave me 2 weeks ago in an hour. Okay, he did say he was outside playing soccer, trying to kick it, spin kick it. The ball was still in the garage. Caleb says, I ate half a gummy my brother-in-law. Is that the same exact?
Yes. Yeah, he cleaned it up for Caleb.
I got it.
He got it all into one. It's a little teamwork on the board.
And then also Caleb goes on to say, I did shrooms in college while watching a Nets Pacer game. The basketball started talking to me. That would be fun.
That would be a good experience right there.
Corey says, I've only been smoking for like 3 years, so my tolerance is still low. Luckily, saves me money. But there you go, guys. Let's get into the NFL. I guess the big news, there's a couple big stories, Mike, that we can talk about.
Yeah.
But I'm going to start right here with this one. I'm going to start talking about the Baltimore Ravens releasing Justin Tucker. Guys, Baltimore released Justin Tucker. He is accused of inappropriate behavior by Baltimore massage parlors. The Ravens did draft Tyler Loop in the draft this year, and knowing that this was probably what they were going to do, but they pulled the trigger yesterday, Mike. Justin Tucker arguably the best kicker. I mean, we're always going to say Chris Paul as well,
Mm-hmm.
but arguably one of the best kickers
Yeah.
ever to play the game. I do have the note from statement from Executive Vice President and General Manager of the Baltimore Ravens. He goes on to say, sometimes football decisions are incredibly difficult, and this is one of those instances. Considering our current roster, we have made a tough decision to release Justin Tucker. Justin created many significant, unforgettable moments in Ravens history. His reliability, focus, drive, resilience, and extraordinary talent made him one of the league's best kickers for over a decade. We are grateful for Justin's many contribution. Help me out with that one. Contributions while playing for the Ravens. We sincerely wish him and his family the very best in the next chapter of their lives. So there you go, guys. I don't know. I'm sure he's probably going to land somewhere, right, Mike? I don't think that he's going to wrap it up after this. Do you?
Probably not. No. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I'll be surprised if he's on a team when the regular season starts with everything going on. But as kickers start to go down and kickers start to struggle, I wouldn't surprise me if the team gives him a call.
Yeah,
they're willing to put aside legal issues for a lot of things. The Browns gave Deshaun Watson a guaranteed contract.
That's true.
And like what was the joke all yesterday was I saw all over the place on every platform was, the Browns have signed Justin Tucker, giving him a guaranteed contract, highest paid kicker in the league.
Yeah,
but
it's not my mind. He's going to go to Cleveland.
Right? They need another distraction.
They do.
But it won't surprise me at all if he gets picked up by another team. I almost guarantee it by midseason he'll be kicking in the league.
I agree with you.
I bet Derpy's Permani Brothers gift card on it.
It's a deal. Tortilla Jackson says they said the Ravens should have given Tucker a happy ending.
Jesus Christ.
Oh man. So there you go. It was kind of, I guess you could kind of expect it, but it caught me by guard because it was out of nowhere yesterday.
I'm surprised they didn't try and sneak it in at like the end of the week.
Right.
In the middle of a busy part of the
they
week.
do.
Yep.
Also around the division, Mike, the new controversy in Cleveland. It seems to be the Browns and the Pirates are competing. It really does, Mike. But there's a little bit of a debate. Apparently, Adam Schefter quoted that Dylan Gabriel will wear number 2. Did you see this?
I saw that Dylan Gabriel is wearing number 2 and Shador has a new number now. I just posted today. I don't know if you saw that as well.
And under the post, it was Shador responded. He was like, "What?" with question marks. But isn't it crazy all the number 2 that's going on in Cleveland right now?
Yes.
Well,
they are a number 2 franchise.
That's what I'm saying. It's shit. It's everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It really seems to me that they are competing with the Pirates, Mike. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The misfortune goes on between these two teams.
Like, didn't Tim Couch wear number 2? I would not want to wear number 2 in Cleveland.
I think so.
Yeah, Shador is going to wear number 12. Now that's a quarterback number right there. 12 is a quarterback number. Terry Bradshaw, Tom Brady, that's quarterback number.
Speaking of numbers, Mike, they put up yesterday, and I'm sure a lot of people saw this, but they put up the Steelers non-issued numbers. Because a lot of people say, okay, we do have the 3 retired numbers, of course, as of the last few years. Ernie Stoutner, Mean Joe Green, and Franco Harris. And they did, they released the unissued numbers. And I guess these were always the numbers that we just assumed nobody would get, Mike. So besides for those 3 that nobody can wear, these are unissued and they will not be worn by Pittsburgh Steelers anytime in the near future. Number 1, of course. Number 7. Number 12, 36, 43, 47, 52, 58, 59, 63, and 86. So, I mean, they had this little issue in Cleveland. Who gets to wear this? Who gets to? At least we had, you know what I mean? You come here. You're not wearing Big Ben's jersey. You're not wearing Terry Bradshaw's jersey. Jerome Bettis, and any of these greats. The question is, like, did these numbers all eventually become a retired number? And I know they're really stretching the process out for the Steelers are, and maybe rightfully so. But do you think eventually, Mike, a lot or maybe even most of these numbers are retired one day? Because they're unissued numbers, they're not going to be used.
Unissued,
So why not retire him?
Because you get to that point, the way we've had so many great players, when do you stop?
The Yankees
That's
are still retiring numbers.
yeah, I know and that's crazy. Because I think definitely 12 should be retired. 58, 59, 52 should be retired. Mel Blount 47 should be retired. I think all the guys who are in the Hall of Fame from the Super Steelers should be retired.
I don't see anybody on this list that I wouldn't think so.
Then after that, it gets kind of debatable. Like, we still issue Swan and Stallworth.
Well, I mean, I think Big Ben obviously was a better quarterback than
Yeah,
Bradford
Big
by
Ben should be
far.
retired. Troy, I would have no problem because he was a generational
You just don't
talent.
like the Heinz Ward idea. You were just not a Heinz Ward guy.
If Swanee and Stallworth's numbers are still getting worn, 86 can still be worn.
Yeah, why do those numbers still get worn? Now, especially with wide receivers
now
numbers,
that you can wear any number anywhere now for the most part,
I would retire.
Those should start. But I don't think Pittsburgh wants to see wide receivers wearing 22 and 24 and stuff like that. That might be the only reason why. It's just because you need enough for the position.
Yeah, Tortilla. Franco's number was retired. He's one of the 3 that's retired. The retired people are Franco, Mean Joe Green, and Ernie Stoutner. And those are all the other 11 were the unissued numbers, which Mike really raises a good point. I was going to make the Heinz Ward argument, but still, I mean, guys are wearing 88 and 82.
Yeah.
So that just shot my thought down. If those numbers are still wearable, I think you should be able to wear Heinz Ward.
And that's like no disrespect. I would have no problem if Heinz Ward's number becomes, part of that list, but you got to do Swan and Stallworth first because they were, 4-time Super Bowl champs. Swanee was a Super Bowl MVP like Heinz Ward was, and they, were the league team leaders in so much stuff before Heinz came along. Get them first, then get the Heinz. I'd have no problem for it. I think Heinz Ward is a damn good player. Hall of Famer, I'm not so sure, just because the era that he played in, but I would have no problem with him going into the Hall of Fame.
Thing about him, it wasn't really a passing team, but he still put up pretty amazing numbers,
I know.
For the passing game that we did have.
Yeah.
Is this true? Is it what's going on the screen here? Is it? I mean, I see Finch. I don't know if he's messing with us, but he's saying the Browns signed Justin Tucker to a 5-year. That's gotta be.
Yeah, he's fucking with you.
All right.
He's trying to pull a sneaky on us.
Caleb says, I want Rodgers to wear number 22. It would be appropriate when the Steelers are 22nd in the league for passing.
He's going to come in and wear Kenny Pickett's number 8.
Yeah. He can wear that.
Yeah.
That's what he wore in New York, right?
Yeah.
Also, Mike, before I get into more Steeler talk, running backs, I have a list right here. Do you want to hear the top running backs in the draft next year?
Yeah.
Guys coming out, Mike. We might find our guy, but just in case we have it and other guys, this list just came across my screen. Jamal Hayes from Georgia Tech is going to be, I think this is the top 10 running backs coming out of the draft next year. So just throwing this out for random reasons. Jamal Hayes out of Georgia Tech, Darius Taylor out of Minnesota, Jeremiah Love out of New York, or out of Notre Dame, I'm sorry, Jaden Ott out of Oklahoma, Mekhi Hughes out of Oregon, your guy Allen out of Penn State, Mike, Le'Veon Moss out of Texas A&M, Jonah Coleman out of Washington, and Jaheim White out of West Virginia. Like the top 10 prospects coming out in next year's draft in Pittsburgh, Mike. We will see some of these guys coming out on the stage next year right here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone will go first round like we did this year, but I think a decent chunk of them can go second round because there are some really good running backs in that class.
Genty, this year wouldn't have probably went the way that it did either if it didn't have Genty in it. He was
exactly
a big name and what he did.
Yeah.
So I agree. It's probably you'll see these guys a lot in the second round, third round moving on, but that doesn't mean they're any less good.
I know, right? And that's the sad thing about running backs, man. There's more good running backs than there are wide receivers and quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They're like a dime a dozen. You can find a starter in the 6th round. It's insane. Especially if you have a good offensive line, you can turn a schlub into a 1,500-yard running back some years.
Corey said apparently the Browns are bashing us for not drafting Sanders. While the world bashes them for
why? He fell to the 5th round. What?
Yins gave up on him in the early rounds.
Yeah, you passed
to get him.
First,
come on.
3rd, 4th. The owner had to step in and say, "Get him in the 5th."
And they threw out that, and then they missed the other guy, Travis Hunter. Come on, they have no room to laugh about it. That's like us as Pirates fans laughing about a Yankee pick.
Yeah, like if I'm Cleveland, I would have taken I get it. They got another first round this year, but like someone like Hunter, roll the dice on that, man. Roll the dice.
Let me ask you, do you hear that sound? I messed around with things on my computer, and there was like a bell that I just did. Did you hear it?
I did not hear it. No.
Okay, cool. On the board, Caleb said, or I'm sorry, let me go to Tortilla's response or message first. I wanted Singleton this year, but he chose to go back to college. And Caleb says we could talk about that NCAA sportsbook. Yeah, we could definitely talk about the NCAA sportsbook today. Find out a little bit about that. Guys, let me ask you this. All right. Now, you know I'm a conspiracy theory guy, and I'm always looking these things up. But did anybody see this weirdo that came up out of nowhere who's proclaiming to be the heir apparent of Muhammad and Jesus? He says that he's the real next pope. He says that he's the Mahdi of the Islamic faith. If you haven't, go pull him up anywhere. He's all over the place on YouTube. For some reason, this weirdo's picking up a lot of traction. I think he's like a cult, like a David Koresh type guy.
Uh-huh.
But do yourself a favor. If you wonder where Aaron Rodgers has been, this dude looks like Aaron Rodgers. This guy that popped out of nowhere says he's the Mahdi and the whatever it is that comes after Jesus and Muhammad. He looks like Aaron Rodgers. He always. I'm just telling you. I'm not gonna even describe him anymore. Go anywhere and type any of those words I just said. It's going to come up as keywords in the keywords. And the guy looks like it's always in the dark. It's always shadowed. It's very bizarre, but it looks like Aaron Rodgers. And he's real smart like Aaron Rodgers. Like he talks like that. Like he's yeah, you know what I mean? Do you see him, Mike?
I'm having trouble pulling it up. I'll have to do it after the show. But oh my god, I can't wait to go find this.
Oh please, and everybody on the board and
was it Mel Gibson?
You gotta see, guys. If anybody could pull it up real quick and shoot us, I don't know, figure something out. I got to take a look at this picture. But this guy, he looks just like Aaron Rodgers. I don't care what anybody says, and I don't think you're going to disagree with me. But I just wanted to bring that up because, of course, we don't know where he is, and we as fans are wondering if he's going to be our quarterback in next year. But Aaron Rodgers, in fact, is he the new cult leader, Mike, who says that he's here to bring peace to the world? Sounds like something Aaron Rodgers would do. Tortilla says Aaron Rodgers is going to walk across the Ohio River. He's going to walk on the river.
He's gonna split the confluence.
He's going to
and
split
walk
the
across.
Yeah. No luck yet. I'm going to move on if you haven't.
Hold on one second.
All right.
Here.
Well, maybe listen. One more other thing on social media that I did find yesterday. I sent this to the guys. Anybody, if you wanted to see something interesting and funny, Antonio Brown's always posting funny things on his Twitter. X. Yesterday he posts a picture. It was a plate of spaghetti.
I saw that.
And the text was Deion Sanders' favorite pasta. I don't know if anybody saw that. But do go check that out. I want to ruin it for you, but again, I don't. If you want to pull that up, maybe we'll talk about it a little bit. But look up Antonio Brown's tweet that was said Deion Sanders' favorite pasta.
All right. I got the screen cap.
All right, pull that up.
We can do a screen share here.
Now, there you go. Look at this guy. Take a minute. I seek refuge in Allah from Satan, the cursed, in the name of Allah, the one, the conqueror.
We will win a playoff game.
Look at the guy's face, Mike.
He looks like Aaron Rodgers.
He is Aaron Rodgers. Zoom in. Can you zoom in?
I'm having trouble zooming in. This
okay.
is like the best I could do. My screen started shaking and stuff.
But think about this guy. He's like I said, he's gaining momentum, and these people are following him, and YouTube is getting all these. It's unbelievable. But look at the guy.
Yeah.
Take a little bit closer look. Tell me that's not Aaron Rodgers. If you wonder where the hell he's at, he's wearing all black like to disguise himself. Mike, I'm convinced that this is Aaron Rodgers.
No, and they're saying, people have a conspiracy now that Aaron Rodgers got married because he has a ring on his finger. And if you can kind of see it on his hand, right above where it says Satan, there's a ring. That is Aaron Rodgers.
That is Aaron Rodgers.
Now I definitely want him to be our new quarterback.
I know. I want that guy right there
This
to
is
come
what
out.
I want as our new quarterback. I am here for it now.
Mike, I almost lost my shit. I seen this. I thought, you can't make this up. This has got to be Aaron Rodgers. And then the other thing, if you didn't get a chance to pull it up, guys, there's the Antonio Brown AB is tweet Deion Sanders' favorite dish. Mike, do you have that by any chance?
Give me a minute here on the Twitter.
All right, let me grab a couple messages. Mike is going to pull that up, and then we'll get back to serious talk. I promise. I just couldn't contain myself when I seen this picture, and then also of that Aaron Rodgers dude. And again, he seems very David Koresh to me. He kind of worries me in that capacity, but beyond that, I'm not too worried about this guy. As long as he can throw his touchdowns, that's all I care about, Mike.
That's all I care about. I got it.
All right, let me just say real quick. Caleb says AB is going to become the football version of Kanye West. Guys, this is the tweet that that AB put up yesterday, Mike. There it is. Take a close look, everybody. This is 100%. We're not making this up. If you go to X and go to AB, look at his tweet yesterday. This is it, and it says Deion Sanders' favorite pasta.
You know what? I think when Derpy's next on the show, this should be the picture he has to have for him. We could hear this thing talking.
I like it.
Beep, 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 beep,
beep. Will Howard's gonna
beep.
We're going to win Super Bowls.
I need everything.
So there you have it. It's sausage and meatballs, I think.
Yeah.
Caleb was wondering what the hell that is. I assume it's meatballs.
Yeah, it looks like like Italian sausage and some meatballs. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it looks kind of good. I'm like, I want some.
Oh, and I don't want none of that. I'm not even hungry anymore. No. Man. Diddy Sanders tortilla says. Caleb says, "What is that? Italian? Yeah, it's Italian food. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to eat Italian for a while now after seeing this, but." What about your boy AB, man? He's really become the guy is so hardworking. If you remember his work ethic as a Steeler,
yes.
It's wild because Mike, just the work ethic of the guy, and then he gets kneed in the head. And again, I mean, he's probably crazy before that. I'm not going to be gullible here, but totally just becomes this insane character. And now that he's not in football, he's maintaining his relevance, and he's coming up with these hilarious. Again, I mean, Deion Sanders' favorite pause. That's hilarious, right?
It's great. I love it. But yeah, like AB is his work ethic, like you said, man, was off the charts. I remember ESPN had like the sports science. He ran some routes, caught the ball. Then he ran the routes blindfolded. He ran them better blindfolded than he did, being able to see. Dude was a hard worker, and it's just, he just couldn't keep it together, man.
Well, I do have some numbers, luckily, Mike, for this conversation. This is the comparison between the first 3 seasons of Antonio Brown and the first 3 seasons of George Pickens. So if we want to take a look, Mike, at the numbers by the first 3 seasons, now you got to remember where they came in. One guy came in as the number 1 receiver. The other guy came in as a 6th round pick. So that dictates the way this goes, Mike. But this is the first 3 seasons by number. George Pickens played 48 games. Antonio Brown played 38 games in their first 3 seasons. Receiving wise, catches, I'm sorry. George Pickens in his first 3 seasons, Mike, 174 catches. Antonio Brown, 151 catches. Yards, George Pickens, 2,841 receiving yards. Antonio Brown, 2,062. Almost 800 yards more. And then touchdowns, for a team that isn't scoring many touchdowns over the past 3 seasons, George Pickens managed to pluck 12 of them compared to Antonio Brown's 7. So again, you got to look at the situation that they came in and joined the team. Nonetheless, you got to be somewhat encouraged to see those kind of numbers from George Pickens, considering what the numbers that all in the career that Antonio Brown ultimately put up, Mike. But first 3 seasons, not off to a bad start, right?
No, not off to a bad start. You considered his quarterbacks were Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. AB had Big Ben. Yeah. You can say, like George more or less was a starter right away, but he did not have the talent at quarterback that
And he was still able
AB
to
had.
outperform
Yeah.
AB like by
Yeah.
800 yards.
Yeah. And AB he had a couple receivers ahead of him. What we still had Mike Wallace at one point, someone else too. But once he became established, AB,
You also got to remember he was doing
it's nuts.
he was
He
special
was doing,
teaming.
yeah, he was special teaming,
He
punt
was returning
returns.
kicks.
Yeah.
So, again, it was two totally different tracks, two totally different paths to the NFL. Let's catch up on some of the messages here, guys. I'm starting to see the board move a little bit, but I am going to stick with George Pickens because I have an interesting story. Mike, let me get some of these messages first.
Yeah.
Because we're going to go a little bit more into what we went into yesterday as far as George Pickens goes, and I got a reliable source this time, so we're going to talk about it. All right, so let's go right here. Finchy says, greatest tweet of 2025, the Antonio Brown tweet. Yinzer Joe, what's up, Yinzer Joe? Yinzer Joe says, of course, Mike wants some of that. That's right. Caleb says, I get it. I watched that 2 Girls 1 Cup video and didn't eat chocolate. You know what? I still have trouble eating chocolate ice cream because of that video, because it looks exactly like chocolate ice cream in that video. I've never seen shit that look like that.
I never watched that video, and I will
I'll
never
do yourself
watch
a
that
favor. You got to,
Nope.
Come on.
Nope. I'm good.
How do you expect to reach the enlightenment of Aaron Rodgers if you don't watch that video?
No, I got my my special message from Aaron Rodgers all ready to go. I'll watch it after the show.
John says, I think Rodgers' drama will hurt the team. I think so too, like big time. But that's just me, which is more important than mental stimulation through drama. A time when Mike and I disagree. It's my 28-year-old military mind. Tortilla says Brown didn't play much his first year, but he had a Hall of Fame quarterback, so I guess it evens the stats out. Yeah, absolutely. And again, it was, if Antonio Brown would have came in as a number 1 or number 2 from the get-go, the numbers that he probably would have put up by the end of his time with the Steelers would have been insane.
Yeah.
But again, you got to give it to both of these guys. They both certainly came in and made their way, and George's got a way to go. We still have to see how his career plays. Caleb says, what kind of food do you think they serve at swinger parties? Exactly what you see. I'm thinking all the food. I would imagine all the food looks like wieners and sex parts. That's what I think of when I think of swinger.
So some finger food.
You want
some light food. You don't want heavy food. You don't want something that's going to sit in your stomach.
You want something you can just jam in your mouth.
Whoa.
Let's see. Yinzer Joe. Well, GP had no one on the other side. AB had Wallace Ward, Manuel Sanders. I know you're absolutely right. Again, 2 totally different situations.
Yeah, that young money crew.
And it makes you wonder if GP was part of big money and AB come in and he was a higher pick, how things would have been different. Nonetheless, both of these guys certainly happy with their performances in Pittsburgh. John says, folks highlighting and drawing attention to AB's illness for cash doesn't sit right with me either. Sometimes the media goes too far for engagement, time, and cash. Tortilla said crab cake. Yeah, you got to have crab cakes at the swinger party. Lots and lots of crab cakes.
Tortilla.
I knew someone who would attend toothbrush parties, and they said the dish most served often was baked ziti. We had a guest, Mike, one time who pleasured herself with a toothbrush. I don't know if you remember this story.
I remember that story.
Really early on. It was an electronical toothbrush. It was one of these motorized ones. Do that again. I didn't even know you had that on tap.
Do this to everyone.
It's one of our original sound bites.
That was the girl that used the electric toothbrush. Good move, man. That was
I had that queued up. I've had that queued up ready to go for a while now.
I guess probably for 4 years maybe, but that was an all-star catch, Mike. Gold glove for you.
Yes.
I'm going to tell the Illuminati good things about you. I swear.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm
going to get more into it at the end of the show. You just pull yourself together, guys. But I do want to also talk about this. We talked a little bit yesterday about, as a matter of fact, verbatim, the George Pickens situation here. A couple of the quotes, Mike. One from Sports Illustrated saying, "GP Steelers could be nearing,"
Yeah.
and then also from another source in here in Pittsburgh, they says it has not gone well behind the scenes. Believes Pickens' time is limited. Guys, let me get to you the latest I got on this. Now, Mike, we were kind of wondering who, what the sources were. Sports Illustrated is good, but they don't have that, they're not in it on time. This might have been something a story they got a week ago.
Yeah.
And, you get their story whenever you get it because they're Sports Illustrated and they put it out when they do. But Mike, I found another one here. If it just could take a second to pull it up. This is from a reliable source that we certainly on this show a lot of times confirm to, find out that what they're saying is true. Mike, Jerry Dulac yesterday. Again, reliable. I've always relied on Jerry Dulac here in Pittsburgh. He's not part of the toxic part of the media in town. Jerry Dulac says this on George Pickens. I do not expect him to be here beyond this year. They will not give him a second contract. They have until November. If they want to trade him, they got a number 2 for former Steelers receiver Chase Claypool. Maybe they could snooker another NFL team. Like Jerry Dulac, now I'm starting to think to them, what's going on? First, maybe it was a story, maybe speculation, maybe trying to sell some articles. I've always trusted and respected Jerry Dulac. Mike, is anything changed? Do you think that something could really happen with George Pickens?
If they do, they have to get a wide receiver in return.
That's just go through this.
Exactly. That's why I really don't want to believe that they would trade him. I can understand it during the draft. Okay, you trade him, you get a second round pick for him. There were still wide receivers available in the second round. Go out and snag one. And Green Bay, they were looking for a receiver. And they drafted someone. Dallas, maybe. I know there was conversations that Pittsburgh had with Dallas.
I've heard that basically every receiver in the league has interest in Dallas has interest in every receiver in the league.
Yeah. So why now? It makes no sense. You just ride out the season with them, and then you let them walk in free agency, or you tag them, see if you can tag them and trade them.
Yeah.
If you give George Pickens the ball this year, if you get Mason Rudolph can get on the ball, Aaron Rodgers comes and gets George Pickens the ball. George Pickens is going to be a happy camper. And, you get him his number.
There's a lot of ifs.
Like any wide receiver will be happy.
Mike,
it's just weird. It's just weird that now all of a sudden it's coming up.
Yeah.
After the draft, you're hearing all this stuff.
Especially after the draft, they came back and said, "Oh, the Steelers never had any intentions on trading Pickens. They just threw it out there to see what they could field." Mm-hmm. But now. Again, it's still continuing. Again, as of 24 hours ago, this was a report by Dulac. And again, some of the toxic media, it's you don't take it with a grain of salt. But again, Jerry Dulac, he doesn't let me down often. A couple messages on the board here. Caleb says, "Do you think a whiff of Kaboli crack would violate the genetic?"
I think so.
Oh, I don't want to be anywhere near that crack. Tortilla, keep him a year, let him walk and draft another person, another receiver. I'm not sure what we were just saying. There was a comment where Caleb said, "Tortilla, we're going to need you to sit down for this one." I don't know what it was, but it sounds funny. But Mike, again, to me, as of yesterday, I didn't put too much into this at all. I got the Jerry Dulac article, and I'm thinking to myself, you have to at least consider what's being said by Jerry, and again, who knows how it's going to play out.
Exactly. I just let it ride out. Just go up the season with him. If he won't play because he wants the new contract, then you trade him. And unfortunately, we're back in the same.
His immaturity.
Yes,
is something that popped up in the article. I circled it, but I didn't get the whole statement. But it was referring to his immaturity. So
probably like stuff behind. We see flashes of it when things don't go his way out on the field. So what's he behind closed doors? Because remember, the year before they fined him $100,000 for conduct. All different types of conduct that we saw on the field and stuff that we did not see on the field as well.
Yinzer Joe says I wouldn't let him go for nothing. Got to get something out of him. So, absolutely, as the way we did with Chase Claypool. I mean, if we like Kabuli, or not Kabuli, but Dulac said, if you can get, we got a second round pick from Claypool. Come on,
Exactly.
if you can get that for Claypool,
What can you get for GP?
who's slightly better than me, what can you get for GP?
You should be able to get at least a low first if a team's stupid enough.
Boy, would that work in the next season's draft as well? If
oh god, that would be awesome.
Is there a total amount of picks that you can't have more of in the draft?
I don't know. Like what one team came in with 12 draft picks this year?
Because I know we have 11 as of right now. And if we would do something like this, I mean, that would put us with a 12-pick draft. I mean, I can see a lot of trading and moving ups and moving downs, getting our guy. And in Pittsburgh, maybe this situation with George Pickens is playing out to our advantage. We just don't know. But again, we know what it's like to go through a season without a number 2 receiver. We'll see, man. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. Yinzer Joe says he has a contract this year. He has to play or get fined every game. Play the season out. Our franchise next year, then trade him. Yeah. So I don't know. Again, so many questions still to be answered with the Steeler team. Who's their quarterback? Is George Pickens going to make it past? You know what I'm saying? There's still so many questions, and we're running out of time. Like again, just 90 days. We're going to be in August.
Yeah.
And August means preseason football, and then it's on. So say what you will, off season's flying. It's flying for me. And also another one, Mike. Also, who's our new guard? McCollum? No, McCormick. He also got engaged as well yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that.
So as long as he can hold his baby making stuff in until after the season,
right? Well, he has.
I mean, look at the way Raquel and Russ did it, Mike. Yeah. The season's been done for about a month now.
Yeah,
they had their babies. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Well, the
Penguins knew they weren't going to make the playoffs, so they
don't have babies on my time.
Yeah. There should be NFL breeding season.
There should be with any business that you're in. Because guys missing games for the birth of their baby. Again, it only is good for them and their baby. It does nothing for the 30,000 people.
It's all about
it does nothing for the millions watching. They got to have this in the pre-draft training videos or whatever the hell.
Unless you're a member of a team that really sucks ass, have your kid whenever you want.
Yeah. Tortilla Jackson, we'd probably trade him for Jalen Ramsey, who I'd have loved to have 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Now would be the time that the Steelers would go after Jalen Ramsey.
Like I would have, I'd give a 5th round pick for him, and I think he would be him, Porter, and Slay would be a nice secondary.
Whew. Absolutely. Let's see what this. Another one, Mike. My dude. What's my dude? The other tall, skinny guy. He was injured the whole year. Corey
Trice. Yeah. God.
I like to see Corey Trice make another step with his size, Mike. You get him. You get him in the mix. His skills improve. He's got great size. Like Porter, he's tall. He's lanky.
Mm-hmm.
This guy could probably pluck him right out of the air.
Yeah. Jamar Chase tore him up at the end of last year.
Well,
but Jamar Chase is arguably the best receiver in the league, and Corey Trice on some of those plays was in his hip pocket. So you see the potential there. What he can do.
I've always liked. It was another play that missed a whole entire season.
Yeah, and they do that. That's why he fell to the 7th round was the injury concern. So you take a flyer on that guy in the 7th round. If he lands, awesome. If he doesn't, okay, no loss.
John said Kabuli reminds him of John Candy.
Yes, the groundhog.
the groundhog in Caddyshack.
That is on point.
Yeah, Tortilla. Phillip Rivers was he was the breeding goat.
16 fucking kids. Jesus Christ. It's a vagina, not a clown car.
And I think Tyreek Hill, he's right up there with him though. He's competing.
Yeah.
He don't care. He shows up for the games. He's like, well, we have a baby this morning. I got a game.
Right?
And then he speeds and gets pulled over.
Fuck yeah. Like, oh, Tyreek.
John says nowadays players and agents do not know how to act and feed the media to get get it out if wanted. GP will be drama this year. And that's the thing that you don't want. You don't want him to be a problem because again, there's potential. He wasn't one of the players that I was initially saying. Now you got DK, now you got Slay, now you got Broderick. Again, GP could very well fall into that category too. One big bad call during a game could change the course of a game. In a Ravens game, let's just say it's a 1-score game, and just a stupid play could change the whole trajectory of a game. That's what I'm concerned about, Mike. Whatever they do with George Pickens, I just hope it doesn't hurt us. I hope they figure out a way to make it help us, because again, I'd like to stay clear of this drama if we could.
Me too, but there's also another piece of drama that's flying under the radar: the TJ Watt contract.
Yeah, for sure.
I can see him doing one of those hold-ins where he just runs on the side, and it'll be a distraction, but that will be the distraction that everyone agrees with. TJ Watt, like, oh yeah, you got to pay him his money. Well, he's on the downside of his career.
That's whatever. Yeah, you're right.
And I think that's going to be the bigger distraction, is him doing his hold-in.
John also goes on to say, if there's any issue with available throws to wide receiver, who gets priority, $1 million DK, or it might be GP? Be gone, GP. You know what? Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting. And what I saw? Who I saw yesterday, Mike, making some catches and some amazing plays on the practice field was Roman Wilson.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this footage, but he went out and he caught this ball with one hand, and Roman Wilson was looking really good. So I mean, if he could come in, Mike, and do what we kind of wanted him to do, that's a game changer. That's a game changer for a wide receiver room.
Because I think they had expectations that by midway he would be the number 2 receiver.
John also says Con talks out of both sides of his mouth. Can't tell what it is, what is what, which allows for plenty of speculation. And that's what it comes down to. That's Pittsburgh. That's just the way that our coaches and people talk. They talk out of both sides of their mouth. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And we kind of just did touch on that a little bit ago, Mike. But
he learned from the feet of the master. Kevin Colbert was the master of that.
And you know what? I couldn't even tell you what Kevin Colbert looked like. Omar Khan is such an amazing GM, and people love him so much. I could point him out in a crowd. I couldn't even tell you what Kevin Colbert looked like.
I can tell you what Kevin, like.
What do he look like?
That chubby white guy.
I could have guessed that.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm gonna say, early day Kevin Colbert was one of the best GMs I ever saw when it came to the draft. His free agency, terrible, but then I
don't even remember. I mean, what do you mean he talked out? Did he talk? I don't remember.
Yeah, he would say.
I never seen him in the media much.
He was a lot on the radio. He was a media darling of the sports talk radio, and yeah. Oh, they love him. They love him to death. He never did anything wrong. Which for the first part of his career, he did not. Everything he touched turned to gold.
Mike, do we pound for pound, where does the Steelers stand? Do we have the worst quarterback room in the league? Think about it for a minute. Just take a minute.
No.
Think what we have: Skylar Thompson, a rookie, and a very questionable Mason Rudolph, who on any other team is a second, and I think that's being nice, or a third string quarterback. Who has a worse quarterback room than the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Tennessee Titans.
Who's their QBs?
They
got Cam Ward.
Will Levis, Cam Ward, who's an unproven rookie.
2 first-round quarterbacks. Or should have been. I don't remember what Will Levis actually
Will Levis
went.
was the second round.
Yeah.
He was the second round. And Brandon Allen and Tim Boyle.
See, I think that's better than ours.
No.
Who in ours is any better than anybody that they have?
Right now, Mason Rudolph proved Mason Rudolph's better than Will Levis.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
I don't think Mason Rudolph proved anything.
Better than New Orleans.
Well, they got Derek Carr. I'd rather have Derek. I mean, he's injured.
Derek Carr's injured.
But I would rather have Derek Carr than any of the guys that we have. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want to get rid of my rookie, but I would love to have Derek Carr better than Mason Rudolph.
Oh, I wouldn't. Oh,
he's just a better quarterback. He's had a better career.
He's trash though too.
He's played for trash. He played for the Raiders and the Saints. Come on, what do you expect?
Better than Atlanta?
No. I think that their rookie from last year is better than our Michael Penning. I don't know. Did Kirk Cousins? He's still a free agent?
No. He's under contract with them. He's their backup.
That's a better quarterback room.
I
mean, who has thrown more out of our quarterbacks more than Kirk Cousins? Nobody.
Right, no one. But I'm saying Kirk Cousins now is not a good quarterback.
But still, our quarterback room though is
Cleveland.
you
Yeah. Indy, the
it doesn't hurt
Colts.
that they have 15 quarterbacks either.
Yeah. And then you got the Colts. We're not up there on good
No.
quarterback room.
We're in the bottom 5.
We're in the
Okay. That's
Yeah.
all. That's all I needed.
But I think we have the talent around the team to where we can be more competitive than some teams that actually you look at them like, oh man, they got a really good quarterback situation. I think the Steelers.
Let me ask you this. Now, I'm not trying to strike debate or anything.
Yeah, no,
this is a team that they're so worn out from carrying this team. They let up 40 points every year in the playoffs, and the offense has done next to nothing for 3 seasons. So do we have a team that's good enough to carry a quarterback that's not? That's what I'm saying. Once this starts playing out, I don't know what we're going to get with Mason. You want things to go well, and you don't want it to. Is it going to be one of these years, Mike? Remember, we were watching a game last year, the year before, and I said, Mike, these are the kind of games that the Steelers are going to have until we get our quarterback. They were ugly. They were, you kind of always had to wait for TJ to make a big play at the end of the game, or maybe a big interception to put the nail in the coffin. Is this team going to be any better than in that sense? Are we going to be able to get past that point to where we might just be able to go to win some games where it's not a heart attack every single week? Is that even possible with what we have at this time? Or is it going to be another season of heart attacks and close endings and heartaches?
I'm leaning towards that until I see what what Mason can bring in the preseason. What Will Howard, I'm not counting on Will Howard to come in and be a starter, but you never know what can happen. Look at Brock Purdy, a 6th round or 7th, Mr. Irrelevant came in and led, stepped right in and didn't miss a beat. So I want to see what they have, in training camp. But right now, I think it's going to be more of the same. Building that team until we get the guy. And that's the thing. Like, this team literally might be a quarterback away from contending for a playoff run, not a championship run, but that quarterback can be that piece in the next year's draft to get your quarterback and a couple other pieces. Then you're surging, ready to go. But, and
another thing, Mike, I wonder is our defensive line going to be so improved by the picking up of our draft pick that it's going to make a difference, Mike, because again, we was certainly a Achilles heel for us last year. It was hard stopping good running backs, obviously, but is that problem proved? You have Cam just another year older, on that line. You lost the veteran in Larry. You get the rookie, you get the young blood, which we needed, and then obviously the other who's DeMarvin Leal, Neil.
Keanu Benton.
Keanu Benton. So I mean, this guy he's failed to really make his way. So is our defensive line going to be that improved this year, Mike?
I think Harmon is a big upgrade over Larry O. Larry O, you can see he's just constantly banged up, could hardly practice, and would go out there, played, taped up, shot up. I think Harmon is going to be an improvement. I think Ukalale is going to be an improvement over Montravius Adams, what we got out of him. Then it becomes, okay, what are you going to get out of Wyatt Black? I think Loudermilk's a bum. I think Dean Lowry might be he's a good backup, but it's going to come down to Harmon, Benton, Hayward, Ukulele, and Black. What can those 5 guys get you right there? And I think they're improvement over the top 5 we had last year.
Yeah.
But like you said, was last year Cam Hayward's last hurrah? If it was a great hurrah because he had some highs, really good highs, but some lows too that weren't pretty. But if he can get close to what he did last year, this defensive line I think will be improved to where, okay, we can control the run game. We can get some pressure from the front 3 to where, okay, our linebackers are now free. Not everyone up front's going to get one-on-one blocking. You might have to still double team TJ Watt. You might be forced to double team or chip Derek Harmon as well. So that can free up the linebackers and just have a cascading effect of an improved defense. That's the plan. Now, can the players and coaches live up to what the front office laid out? That's
And
going to be the
again, Mike,
key.
you need a
That's
little
going to
bit, need a little help from that offense too. You know,
Yeah, we need you.
that's
Yeah, you have to have hope that O line takes a jump forward, and you have to hope. Can Mason Rudolph be just a guy that can go in there, kind of like Trent Dilfer, and just
and
run the offense,
a
convert
good
first down,
offense
scores.
is the best defense.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah,
speaking of offense, Mike, I want to give you and everybody listening and watching. This is a comparison of Ben Roethlisberger versus Will Howard in their final year in their college season, their last year in their college season. Big Ben versus your new quarterback guys that we just drafted in their final college season. Passing yards, Big Ben had 4,486 his senior season. Will Howard, I'm sorry, had 4,010. 400,010. So about 470 more yards Ben accumulated in his senior season. And again, remember, Will Howard was a national champion, so always something to keep in mind. Completion percentage in their senior or in their last seasons with their college team, Mike, of course, Big Ben at Miami of University, he had a 69.1 completion percentage, and Will Howard had a 73. 73.
That's encouraging. That those high completion percentages, I love that.
In the national, okay, so for passing touchdowns, Big Ben had 47 passing touchdowns in his last season at Miami of Ohio. The national champion had only 35 touchdowns in the national championship season. Both quarterbacks had 10 interceptions. They both threw 10 interceptions in their last seasons in college. In passer rating, Mike, Big Ben had 165.8 in his last season at Miami, and Will Howard 175.3. 175.3. So those are some encouraging numbers. And again, I mean, the yards and the passing touchdowns certainly proved that he was a great passer.
Yeah.
But when he came out, we didn't even want him passing that much. To come in, don't make mistakes, lead this team, and help. Let's win football games.
Yeah.
So maybe Will Howard coming out higher percentage, higher passer rating, same amount of interceptions. Again, just the touchdowns and yards were lower. But again, like those are encouraging things. Yeah. And again, he was playing football in January and into close to whenever the hell that championship was. So again, Mike, maybe, just maybe, I don't want to put him in the say he's comparable to Big Ben Roethlisberger, but again, Mike, in their last season on their college football team, they have very similar numbers.
Yeah, very similar numbers. And Will Howard was playing with and against better competition than Big Ben, but I think Big Ben, you saw the potential for what he can be. Like once he got into playing the actual role of quarterback and developing, because remember, he was a wide receiver in high school, then turned to quarterback because he had to sit behind the coach's son. When Will Howard's been nothing but a quarterback. I wouldn't be opposed for the Steelers. Let's see what Will Howard can do if you don't get Aaron Rodgers. And can he carry over that magic that he had in that late run? In those January games, can he carry it over into training camp? Can he carry it over into the preseason? Can he carry it over into the regular season? Why not? You see guys can do that, have a nice little run and it just keeps rolling. Ride it out. You never know what you can find with the guy. I don't think Will Howard's ever going to be a top end starter, but I think he'd be a very good starter in the league. But I think it's going to take a little bit longer than it took Big Ben to become
because it seems like there's more work that you're gonna have to try to develop him where Ben had a real natural feel. Ben was really natural, Mike, and just played the game real naturally and real seamlessly. Where the things I seen from Will Howard last year, especially in the loss to Oregon, where he had a kind of a brain fart. Just a couple of things that I noticed about him. He's not as naturally fluent at the quarterback position as Ben. Ben was, and as I said, give him a year or two into the league, you really seen him shine. But it seems like you're really going to have to develop a Will Howard in the NFL, opposed to, as I said, Ben. He had it, and he developed.
Ben had, to me, I take it kind of opposite. I think Ben had it and had to refine the quarterback position, where Will Howard has to work on stuff in his games, but he can. I think he was a more polished passer than Big Ben coming in, a better understanding of the quarterback position. But I think Ben just had the more talent to once that polishing came on, it was going to take him up into that upper stratosphere. Where I think Will Howard might, if everything goes right, top out at like a top 20 quarterback, which nothing to laugh at. That means you're a pretty damn good quarterback. But I think that's going to be a while away. But I'm not opposed to just see what he has, because like you said, like I said, man, that momentum, keep it rolling with him.
Tortilla Jackson, the Colts, Jones, and Richardson. I think that's their quarterback situation up there. John says, for what it's worth, Con is currently ranked 19th in the NFL for what GMs. I'm not
I
sure.
think so. Yeah.
Mark Malone, what's up, brother?
What up?
Mark Malone says, I know what we're going to get with Mason. And then Mike responded 4,500 yards, 32 touchdowns. Yes, I got to tell you, if that
I'm
ends up being
waffling with
the
my
case,
quarterbacks, but I'm willing to ride with either of these two because worst case scenario, we're picking in the top 10, baby.
and I got to tell you this, Mark Malone, if he ends out doing this, Mason I'm talking about, with 4,500 yards and 32 touchdowns, we're going to literally be able to say, I know the one guy that called this.
Yeah.
Because I've never heard anybody besides Mark Malone say it, but Mark Malone is very, very, it's his, that's his opinion. That's his thought. And he thinks it's going to happen. So I hope he's right. If he's right, we're all going to be happy. I think I've said that before. John says rookies don't win Super Bowl. So at best, with luck, we are looking at a 2027. That is only if the hit on the next quarterback draft and have the ability to develop him. Oh, if they hit, okay, yes. And then anything sooner thinking is false hope. Yeah, I mean, you could always, you're right. I mean, don't get me wrong. The percentage, you played a percentage game. Jaden Daniels got the Washington Redskins to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
So, but again, how many times do you see that happening? Brock Purdy did come in and he was able to be pretty effective. And I think a couple other guys. But again, I mean, if you're thinking to prove John's point, if it's going to be Will Howard, it's going to come out and have a season like that, I just don't see it happening.
No.
I didn't love him enough in college. Again, a guy that won the national championship, I should have loved more. But for what we're looking for and what you need as a pro quarterback, there were some things I didn't see that I worry about him. So,
yeah.
And I think by the time they actually can improve those things, it might be 2026, and we could already be picking the next quarterback at that point. So it's who knows? It's real interesting.
And there's nothing wrong with having multiple pretty good quarterbacks on your team.
No,
because if one starts to falter, okay, we got the next guy here. They get injured, which happens a lot. Hey, we got a capable backup. Big Ben, baby.
Kind of the case that happened last year too. I mean,
yeah.
In theory, that should have been the case.
Yeah.
So, finally, my last story from the Pittsburgh Steelers is the former Steeler running back Kalen Ballage. Remember him?
Yeah.
Running back. Mike, he now plays for the Arlington Renegades in the UFL. Mm-hmm. Not only playing, he is tearing up. Apparently, he has now broke the UFL record for the longest touchdown run of 77 yards in the UFL. Mike, Kalen Ballage. I gotta be honest, I don't even remember him.
I remember he lit it up in the preseason, and then a lot of people fell in love with him. He was like one of those preseason darlings. I think he might have got into a couple live action games too, but wasn't able to obviously stick around. But it's nice. It's nice that the UFL is around for guys like him.
Absolutely.
That are just like good enough to be on the practice squad, but not good enough to start.
Absolutely. Caleb said, "Oh yeah, yeah." So John says, "Yes, 19th for GMs." I'd like to know what that's all based on. You know what I mean? To see how they come to that conclusion. I'd be interested to see. Mark Malone with his 4,200 yards and 35 touchdowns. Mike, come on, get it right.
What? Oh, did I get the? Isn't 42 and 35. I'm sorry, I transpose numbers. So
don't take 3 touchdowns away from this offense. Please.
I know, right? we need the TDs more than we do yards. Yards don't win football games.
Yeah, Caleb, go ahead with your question. Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website? We'll get into our question as well.
The2dumbyinzers.com. Oh no, it's over there. We got the merch store where it's Bucko season. You can get your Bob Nothing t-shirt, which I'm not going to pimp on the screen today. We also got the standard is the standard shirt. I'm going to have multiple varieties of that coming down the pipe. We got the links all over there as well, and the blog all over at the2dumbyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. And looking at the numbers, people are checking it out daily. That makes me happy.
Good. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yes, I do appreciate it.
Do go check out the website, www.the2dumbyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumbyinzers.com. Guys, trivia of the day. I think also Caleb is sending a question through, but this is the question of the day. Mike, put on your thinking cap. Everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here we go. I'm talking about top scorers for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike. The number one all-time top scorer for the Pittsburgh Steelers is Gary Anderson with 1,343 points.
Yeah.
The number two top scorer for the Pittsburgh Steelers is Chris Boswell with 1,127 yards. Mike, can you tell me who the third highest scoring Steeler of all time is? That's the question of the day. Gary Anderson's 1. Chris Boswell's 2. Who is the third all-time highest scorer in Pittsburgh Steeler history? Take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day right here on YouTube. All right, question of the day, guys. Hey, what's up, Richard? Richard on the board says, classic. The standard is the standard. There are lots of cool standard shirts on the site. Do check them out, everybody. I do want to welcome Richard to the show. Good afternoon, sir. The question of the day, Mike. I'm looking for top scoring Steelers of all time. Gary Anderson with 1,343 points is the top spot. Chris Boswell, 1,127 points, comes in number 2. Mike, which Pittsburgh Steeler is third all-time leading scorer? Who do you think?
I'm going with Skippy. I'm going with Jeff Reed.
That's an interesting pick. Mike says Jeff Reed, interestingly enough. The answer is, in fact, Jeff Reed, Mike, with 919. Out of everybody, he went Jeff Reed, and it was correct. So
I figured it had to be a kicker.
Yeah, we had a lot of great kickers over the years. But you know what?
I almost said Chris Brown.
Chris Brown, he didn't make it a season and a half.
I know, but it felt like he was here forever. I was like, no, wait a second. It was Skippy.
Do you remember that? He was out of Nebraska.
Yeah.
He couldn't make a field goal at Acrisure to save his life.
No. Well, that's when Acrisure had the open end.
And
that shit gave him.
He was a draft pick.
Was he?
I think so, yeah.
Wow.
I'll look it up, but he was terrible. He missed so many, and it was like it was like the new problem because again the open end at the stadium.
Oh God, yeah.
He missed so many kicks. It seemed like it took a while. It took a while to replace him, but yes, that was correct, Mike. Skippy with 919, which really isn't. It's good, but considering what the other two kickers have done, 919 is the third highest all-time scoring Steeler of all time. Caleb says, if you convert bases to miles, who is 3.4 miles worth of runs for the all-time lead ahead of Ty Cobb in second place? Wait, what am I looking for? Hold on. What's up, R Barley 18? R Barley 18. Welcome to the show. I remember being happy when we got Scobie and he was shit and got hurt. Yeah, you remember that?
Oh, Josh Scobie. Yes, that's a deep cut. Who was the dude who blew out his knee making the tackle? He was right before we got Boswell, wasn't it?
Was it Schweezum, the Canadian?
Yes, it was Schweezum because he was he was like, I'm a Canadian, I'm a hockey player, I'm tough, I'm gonna go make this tackle.
See, I like Schweezum. He was here for a while. He had a lot
sexy
of points.
Schweezum, baby.
The kicking Canuck.
Yes.
So let me try to figure out what you're asking. So if you convert bases to miles, who is 3.4 miles worth of runs for the all-time lead ahead of Ty Cobb?
I'm going Barry Bonds.
I'm going to say Ty Cobb. Pete Rose? No, not Pete Rose. Tony Gwynn? No, not Tony Gwynn. I don't know. I'm going to go Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn is my answer. My guess. Mike, who did you say? Barry Bonds?
I'm going with Barry Bonds.
Tony Gwynn for me, Barry Bonds for Mike, Caleb. John says Google GM rankings 2024. Several articles will pop up that explains that. Yeah, that's awesome. I just don't know what they go by and how they decide who's 1 through 32. I'm going to check that out. And don't get me wrong, I believe you 100%. I just I want to figure out what the hell how they go by deciding that. It is all right. Caleb says it is.
Oh, nice.
Ricky Henderson. Yeah.
All the stolen bases and then everything else added into it.
You know what? If I would have had more time to think, I would have probably got it. But that was a good one.
That was a good one. I went
Yeah,
with Bonds
absolutely,
because
man.
he walked a lot, hit a lot of home runs. Like but Ricky.
Ricky Henderson. Yeah, this dude, he was unbelievable. And then once you said he was better than Ty, yeah, and that was a good one, man. That was a good one. Mike, so there you go. We got the Pirates back at it today. Game 2 against the Cardinals. According to Mark Caboli, we're going to have a new quarterback within the next 7 to 10 days, which now makes it 6 to 10 days or 6 to
Yeah.
9 days. So I expect to have a quarterback in the next 9 days.
Yeah, by the middle of next week, we better have a new quarterback.
The Mahdi. Did you see that picture? Ugh. When he was the Mahdi. He's the Mahdi. The Islam, it's like a big thing in like the Islam religion. Like this dude literally is coming out and saying that he's him, and people are believing this shit, man.
This shit was great. That was great, man. That's I don't know. I commented on the post like, oh, is that where Aaron Rodgers has been?
Who was the other guy? Jim Jones.
Jim Jones. Oh my god! Don't drink the Flavor Aid.
Caleb says, "You ever seen the interview where Tony Gwynn talks about Ricky Henderson? Hey, maybe, possibly." R Barley 18. Hey guys, do you feel it's time to abandon the 2 and 3 man fronts, seeing as Mike disposes players
A real zero like a nose tackle?
I like the beef of Black, but he's not. You know what?
Because they only run base like what is it, like 20% of the time. So yeah, I think you're not going to see Yaya Black in there unless it's an actual rundown. And I think they're going to go. You're going to see a lot of Cam Hayward and Derek Harmon fronts, and then doing the 2 outside guys. But I don't know. I don't think they're ever going to go back to like a traditional 4-man front.
Right.
But they got to figure something out.
I seen another question talking about this defense, Mike. And again, it's going to be very hard to answer this question right now because the guy never played it down. But somebody had somewhere I seen on social media this morning, who's going to have a better career in the NFL, Nick Herbig or the Sawyer that we got from Ohio State?
Yeah.
And again, it's hard to say because we've never seen Sawyer play it down in the NFL. But that's an interesting question. It's going to be interesting to follow as both of their careers, because they're both kind of undersized, but they have this big playability that we've seen it from Herbig over and over and over again. And if Sawyer is anything like this guy, I mean that's going to be a good question.
Yeah, like Sawyer, like are they going to have him drop weight to be quicker, or are they going to have him bulk up to be helping out on the edge to be a more run stuff guy? Whereas Herbig, I think he needs to bounce around more often. And that's what they have to get back to, too, is they did it a handful of games last year where, excuse me, you didn't know where Walt was going to line up. You didn't know where Highsmith was going to be. You didn't know where Herbig was going to be. They need to get back to that, too. Mixing up that front, having exotic looks to confuse the offense. Because everyone knows where everyone's rushing from.
Yeah, especially
and it makes it so much easier.
Especially TJ with that. Why can't he line up anywhere besides right where they line him up?
Yeah.
That drives me nuts.
It does, but when it's effective, it's so goddamn effective. But when it's not effective, it's a huge liability, like we saw in the last 6-7 games.
But as he's saying the zero. I mean, what is Harmon? He's a tackle.
Yeah, D tackle. So nose tackle is the zero.
Zero, right? We technically don't have right. I used to be the nose tackle.
Yeah, why you Black, baby?
So that's our guy at nose tackle, because wasn't who's the guy we just got rid of? Adams was
the backup. Keanu Benton's the starter there, but I think they need to move him more around on the edges, use him to back up people like Cam Hayward and like Harmon. He's not a traditional nose tackle. To me, he's a little undersized. Whereas while you're Black, I'm sticking his fat butt right in the middle, right there, and hey, eat up space. Watch Casey Hampton. Watch Richard. He was the big guy up in New England with their big nose tackle. They just go watch them.
About him.
Yeah, he was 2 of the greats, man. Just go watch their technique. But like I said, we only use base only like 20% of the time. I would say Richard Seymour.
Seymour.
Yeah, because I almost said Sherman. Yeah, Richard Seymour. He was a beast. I hated when we had to play against them.
Tortilla said Sawyer, I think, will be better. Herbig is a liability against the run.
Mm-hmm.
They're both maniacs. They both just kind of fall in that category. They're kind of these undersized white linebackers that have potential to make a big play out of nowhere. Do you build your team around these guys? No, you don't. But they're nice guys to have.
They're good pieces to have.
You could input them and put them in. I like having these guys right now.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Dallas's linebacker core about 10 years ago, where they had an overabundance of white linebackers, and people just said, "Who are all these guys?" But you know what? You get this weird production out of that group of characters and players. So let's maybe we can get those plays with these linebackers as well. Mike, but we're going to start getting ready to wrap things up for today. My first thing of the day is this: is it just me, or is that dumb Plinko game gaining popularity? And if it is, why is Plinko becoming popular again, Mike? I'm seeing Plinko everywhere. Of course, if you remember the game Wheel of Fortune, or not Wheel of Fortune, but Price is Right.
Yeah.
They would drop a puck at the top, and it would Plinko its way down and land in a slot at the bottom, and you win whatever. And again, if you watched last month, the Big Night Out with the PMS show, he had a big Plinko board, which they use many times to decide who was going to win the money. There's a game show right now that's kind of getting big, I think, from what I'm seeing. It's a Plinko type show. I'm like, what is the deal, and why is Plinko back?
Because Plinko is awesome. Plinko has never gone away. Plinko has always been there. It is the best, second best game coming from the Price is Right after the Yodeler going up the mountain. And Plinko, you don't know where it's going to go, man. It's like a little gambling, man. Get that action going. And then two, you have your alcoholic drinks on the bottom. You drop the Plinko wherever it goes. That's your drink. You got to drink it, or you win the prize or whatever. It's random. It's fun. It's exciting. I don't trust anyone who does not like Plinko.
It's out of the blue again. It seems like Plinko is everywhere.
It's cultural zeitgeist, baby.
I thought, what I miss? What did I miss?
I don't know either. I like it. I love it. I've always been a fan.
Mike, anything else? Because I do have one more thing, but go ahead. If you have anything before we start ready to wrap up.
No, I got nothing, man. I never have anything for the end of the show. I'm lame.
Okay, so it appeared to me that last week, one day when you were upset, I thought maybe, just maybe, he was upset because I said the Illuminati was visiting me at the Rite Aid, Mike. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe Mike was just upset that he wants the Illuminati. So what I did for you, I contacted the Illuminati. I called him up. I said, can I talk to Mr. Illuminati, please? And I expressed myself, Mike. And I said, you know what? Mike is definitely
despondent.
He's definitely, he qualifies for the Enlightenment. So the Illuminati, they're working something out for you, Mike, and they said that you could come in for your my
testing, my verification, my vetting process.
Where they come in and they give you butt sex.
So
this is the product.
So it's like a Diddy party.
Yes. Well, no, it's the Illuminati party, but it's no less butt sex in the Illuminati. So
are they going to have Diddy lube?
I don't know. I'm not allowed to say. But one thing that I do know, Mike, is they are working on the process of putting you in through the through that particular stage, Mike. So,
or did you go through that stage?
Again, I'm not allowed to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
But they said when you go there, just introduce yourself as Penetration, and they said
Penetration.
They'll point you out to the right places, Mike, and you will then be able to go through those steps, and you then too can be enlightened. And so I got you set. So there you go.
You got me set. So Penetration. So introduce myself to them as Penetration.
So they said you either have to go and get your initiation done, or you have to call me boss.
Listen, you can.
Just kidding. But so there you go, Mike. He said Mr. Illuminati said that he would have met you down behind the Rite Aid, but he couldn't. He never seen you. So there you go.
That's gonna be my new name, Penetration.
Well, that's only when you're there. I don't know.
Okay.
Beyond that,
I just wanted to make sure what we're doing here.
Beyond that, you could be Mike Muller, but when you're with the guys, you are Penetration, and again, the initiation is the next step for you. So
no, we're going back to the big sexy.
So good luck on that.
All right, you know what? Hey, wish me if I come in like sitting awkwardly. Don't ask questions. Okay? Don't ask questions.
If you come in tomorrow and there's 10 million viewers and Mike is sitting on his side of his ass, you'll know
my left eye covered. Don't ask questions. Just ride the wave, boys. Just ride the wave.
That's what I thought. I thought to myself, geez, these people, what if the Illuminati would pull you aside and say, all right, you could have all the riches and fame in the world, but you got to take it in the butt. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know.
Ain't gay for getting paid. That's just a job.
Yeah, see, I would probably not do it, dude.
So
but I don't know.
So I've heard.
Know.
So I've heard.
Did you say love hurts?
No, I said it ain't gay if you're getting paid. Don't ask how I know that. Don't ask how we got that new computer.
He said love hurts. The Eagles designed D to address Mahomes with 12 or more linemen playing at least 15 snaps per game. The Steelers need to copycat or continue to run out of gas at the end of the season in the playoffs, which I couldn't agree more. Really pathetic. The things it seemed like they were replaying. I don't know if anybody's seen it on NFL Network last night. The Steelers-Ravens playoff game from this year, and it was bad.
Yeah, and with Omar Khan and Andy Weidel, they've been trying to beef up, addressing the O-line in the draft, now D-line in the draft. I can see that being a big priority, is not just stuffing the run, but getting pressure up front. I got to figure something out. I can't wait till training camp now.
Caleb says this Tuesday feels like a Friday show. And yet Mike still has his shirt on. I don't get it. Usually by Friday, he starts shedding clothes. But you know what? That's for the Illuminati to worry about now. That's beyond me. No more. I don't want these people coming after me. Mike, anything else, my man, before we start to wrap things up, brother?
No.
If they do that when they like you, imagine what they do to you when they don't like you.
Hey, I'm a likable fella.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a man of the people. I'm like JFK.
So you know what side of the fence you'll get, and but again, I think you know what they do to you whenever they don't like you. They start whacking people in your family.
Exactly. I got a list. You're not doing me. You're be doing me a favor here. Here, I'll submit the list, the order it needs to go to. Let's go, boys.
I do want to say thank you everybody for coming and hanging out and checking out. We appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. Guys, we wouldn't do it without you, and gals, thank you so much. We want to thank everybody on the board as well. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show, and everybody at home or in the gym or in the car, wherever you may be that's listening or is going to listen to this show at any point. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. So, Mike, that's about it for me, brother. I got the couple things here. Plinko, your Illuminati meeting.
Yes.
Pennsylvania approves the bill to legalize weed just one day after it was introduced. It goes to one more desk, Mike, and they could decide if it's going to become legal here, which I think it's coming. No surprise that it took as long as it did. It's the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, but
you guys, you have to follow in the footsteps of the great state of Ohio.
Yeah,
because my state's a trend center.
John says, remember, Mike, you just must assert yourself to insert yourself. Best advice I've heard today.
So more or less, I have to throw it back. Is that what you're saying? That's
come on, man. I was just getting ready to eat too. I think I want to think about is you throwing it back. But we do say thank you, everybody. Mike, if there is nothing else, we are going to go ahead and wrap it up, brother. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
No, I got nothing. I'll see you all on the next time we're back, and I'll be enlightened.
All right. Well, yeah, maybe.
I'll insert myself. We'll see what happens.
You got to assert yourself to insert yourself, everybody. Just as John says on the board, John, always great having you here, sir, and your comments, and everybody else as well. Thank you so much, guys. Pirates tonight, not really much else going on, but we will still continue to figure out what's going on with Aaron Rodgers and our Pittsburgh Steelers and have all of that information for you. Very first thing tomorrow, guys. We'll see you back at our regular time. I hope everybody has a great Tuesday, a great Titty Tuesday, Mike. We used to call it on the show. It's been
Titty Tuesday.
We had Titty Tuesday, but everybody have a great Tuesday. Stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
See you.